We've got some fresh
Hey,
new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent.
And
Some
I'm
things that I know
Luis.
you
And you're
haven't
listening
heard
to the
before.
Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit.
If you'd like to learn more on how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com.
Yeah, guys. Today we have an awesome guest and an awesome topic. You know, in here we put how to achieve the laptop lifestyle.
And so much more.
But
And
yeah,
so much more.
This is so much more than just that. This is how to create awesome impact in
Legacy, impact.
But before we start,
Yes.
dude, every time you switch something in the intro, you know, like your tone or something, dude, it makes me laugh. It makes me crack up, and then I feel like I'm just gonna mess up the whole thing.
It's okay. You just get our focus, Fonzie. Come on. We're live here. All right. Sometimes we ask ourselves, who is crazy enough to have us in their podcast? Well, today's guest was actually one of the first ones to have us as a guest in her awesome podcast, Marketing Launch Radio. And let me tell you, she is the definition of energy.
That's right. Today's guest is on a mission to inspire and educate change agents. I am actually very curious to know more about these change agents. Not only that, she travels a lot developing marketing and leadership solutions while encouraging others to activate their potential.
Wow. Let's not forget, here a few important facts. Maybe the most important facts of all. She is a singer, songwriter, open water swimming enthusiast, and a foodie. She has been living the laptop lifestyle for almost 5 years. Ain't that the dream?
That is right. That is a dream right there. Guys, please welcome creative entrepreneur, host of the Marketing Launch podcast, and newly coined Aqua Woman, Miss Samantha Gooden.
Welcome.
Oh my god. That has gotten me the best intro ever. Like, Aqua Woman, I love it. I take it. That's me.
go.
Oh my god, yeah.
We nailed it. Fonzie, good job, man. Good job.
Let's
You
go.
were like right on the line today with that intro. But Samantha, we're so excited to have you. Welcome to the show. Woohoo.
Listen, guys, I am so thrilled to be here. Like I said, when I think of you guys, I think about community and belonging to something that is phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. So when we first met, right, it was in a fantastic Facebook group with other really cool people. And I was like, oh, I really like those guys. This is really good. You know, because you can just know your people. And then I have watched you grow. It's phenomenal what can happen also in a short space of time.
That's
You
right.
guys are doing really great work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That means a lot coming from the pro. I actually I had no idea how to bring guests. And I think like when you brought us onto your show, which by the way, everybody listening now should go actually check Samantha's podcast because it's freaking amazing. And I was like, okay, you know, we're doing these episodes and we're doing it solo and, you know, we're kind of arguing about marketing and stuff like that.
Just fighting like normal brothers.
And we're like, okay, you know, I think it's time to, you know, start bringing some guests. And the way that you made it so easy for us to come on, and that's very important when you're running a show, right? I was like, wow, there's a lot of good pointers here that we need to implement. So I just want to say thank you for showing us the path.
Cool.
And now everybody's like asking us, how do we do it? So we're like, okay, just go to Samantha. She knows. She knows.
Y'all are so cool. Listen, oh my goodness. Having great people, I think the power though of it's not even so much us having great guests, it's us creating a great space for guests, right? Because we're in communication. And whether it's the listeners having this great place to come where they can feel at home and listen to us, or for the guests to just feel at home so they can fully express themselves, I think it's huge. It's just such a great blessing to do that.
That's so
I
awesome.
agree. I think you hit the jackpot right there, which is creating the space for the guests. That just for everybody listening, that point right there. If you have a podcast or any sort of platform, that's the goal right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Samantha. Yeah.
I'll let you go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I can feel the fire inside of you. Go ahead, let it out. Let it out.
I can see your mind going already.
Let it out.
Do that with podcasts. You're gonna do the awesome, intro stuff. But a part of what I do is coaching. A lot of times people think, oh, as a coach, you're just there and you're taking people through. But I recognize that all of us have the power to create space around us for people around us to have phenomenal experiences, right? So I'm here on this podcast having a phenomenal experience with you. The people listening are having a phenomenal experience. But you have taken your energy to craft this space, which is what I call life design. So you've done this, and it's like you are like, oh, I love it. So you give us emotional architecture. You give us communication architecture. You put that all together and just give us this explosive experience. Okay, I'm done. I
love it. Oh my God, I'm so excited. As you're saying that, like, I'm going here through the notes, and like, we honestly, like, Fonzie, I think you could have done a lot better with that intro. Anyways, it was really good, but I think you can do a lot better because, wow, you just told us here that you had like your first $20,000 a week, like $20,000 a week. Yeah. Wow. And I know, like, monetary, it's literally secondary. I know the show is called Content is Profit. Yeah, profit can mean so many things, so many things. But that's massive for somebody that is coaching others and empowering and giving all these values. So I think that's a huge milestone that a lot of people starting up like aim to that point. The other thing is, like, you've coached over 100 female entrepreneurs through your own courses in the last 9 months. Wow. I mean, talk about hourglass effect, right? You impact one people, and then that one person is going to impact so many others. And behind the scenes, you were telling us that you were coaching coaches. So mind-blowing the impact that your community is creating. There's so many other things, but we'll dive into that. Samantha, I want to ask you, like, who are you? Like, how this, like, the whole thing coaching started? You lived in so many beautiful places. Why now? Why are you doing what you do now?
Wow. So there are at least 10 answers trying to come out of my head all at the same time on this. So I'm going to start here and just say today is one of the most special days of the year for me, because 12 months ago, I had lost everything. I lost my money. I had lost my personal savings, the profit from my 6-figure coaching company. We had just hit 500K. Our big client had said, see ya later, wouldn't want to be ya, canceled the contract with us. And I had a team of 20. And on this day exactly was the day I was saying goodbye to my last team member. I didn't have money to pay them. And I wound up going to a pawn shop to pawn my jewelry to see if they would give me enough money to help me to get money. I had already sold my laptop, and I was at the end of my road. I went to the pawn shop and they gave me little or nothing for my jewelry. So I told them I'm not giving my jewelry and I'm going to leave. And I found another way. I borrowed enough money to pay half of the person's salary. And I had enough, $100 left to go do the One Funnel Away challenge, which would have been for my second time. And I said, I'm going to just put my head down and learn the stuff inside of here. Within a few weeks, I created my very first course, which was called Marketing Launch Secrets at the time. 10 people signed up for $497, and that $5,000 put food on my table. And then I just started using that and reinvesting that to go into more programs, learn more things. Because I'm a marketer with 20 years of experience, but not in the digital and online space, not direct response marketing. I knew absolutely nothing about that, and definitely nothing about taking expertise and selling it. And just because you're a marketer, it also doesn't mean that you're good at sales either, right? So my story really starts out, I'm a girl with 2 science degrees. I love sciences. I used to be the person that you used to test your blood and your urine and every other body fluid that comes out of you. Everything, just you name it, I've done. I've tested it, right? I was that girl, but I also had this creative passion within me, and I started my first business when I was 22. By the time I was 25, I was completely bankrupt because I put all my money into the business, and my business partner ran off with that and the secretary, but that is another story. And
this is like a true crime kind of podcast. We're going through that like right now. Yeah.
But my point is that, there are so many twists and turns that we can take in life. What brings me here is, it really is a story of resilience, that you can feel like you're being crushed and have nothing, but when you stop in the moment and you appreciate, like I appreciate being here right now. This is one, like I said, one of the most precious. This day means more to me than my birthday, because it means that change is possible.
Well, thank you for sharing it. with us.
With us, yeah. Thank you for coming on. Wow, what a powerful story, and we're so honored that you took time of your day, especially this such a special day, to share your message and your story. And huge props to you, because a lot of people out there might be going through a lot of this. So hopefully this can help them, take that next step, and you show them that it's possible. Basically, like that's the important thing. Whatever you're doing, there's always tools and there's always resources and there's always a way that then you can actually go out and execute.
Yeah, I think that the belief aspect, right? Like we can have the tools and the resources, but if we don't believe, it's gonna be very difficult to achieve some things. And I feel like the stories like yours are the ones that give people that belief and say, I can do it too.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, as a woman in the space, guys, let's just be real. There are not a whole lot of women doing this thing, and there are not a whole lot of women of color doing this thing either. But this is my thing, that as we all unite together and share our stories, you guys become the beacon of hope for some of the guys who are like, I don't know, I wonder if that's possible. I become the beacon of hope for another girl or another woman who does that, and then we have this massive impact. But it's the collective consciousness, and most importantly, the collective genius of all of us as entrepreneurs that can change the world. Like, I really believe that. I really do.
100%. I think, we mentioned it earlier, but that hourglass effect, I think we heard like Russell talking about it, that he was like a little depressed on, like all these people are like, we providing all these opportunities and there's so much potential, and there's still so many people saying no. And we see it, with our own business. You probably see it with your own business. We're like, we know what we put out or what we teach, like, can create that impact. But then we tend to focus on the negatives, right? And sometimes we got to flip it. And if it's just one person that we're helping and they're having massive success, that one person is helping two other, or is saying something to somebody that is going to change their days, and then it multiplies. So if each one of us, and for you guys watching or listening, right, if you're creating that impact, at least for one person, right, at least for one person is enough. If you're doing that change just for you, that's enough, because guess what? Growth comes with it.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, you can, so leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. That's what John Maxwell says. He's kind of like my ultimate master coach. And the power of influence just means that for us as marketers, we are shifting perception with the intention of a sale. A sale can be for a smile. A sale can be for your product. A sale could be for anything. But when we do the perception shifting and do it in a powerful way, understanding that we have influence, literally the world is just ready and waiting. They're ready and waiting for you, and ready and waiting for your message. I'm going to tell you the story of a little woman in South America that I did work with. She could not, and that's why I'm saying your podcast is powerful. You guys are powerful. She could not afford to pay her rent. She could not afford to take care of her business. And she was in business for about a year, and she'd never made a profit. And in 30 days, we sat and worked together. I didn't do anything phenomenal, but I helped her to see possibilities. Within the first 30 days, she wasn't just breaking even. She had enough to pay her rent. She took her kids out. It's that the work that we do helps people to completely shift their lives, the lives of their children, the lives of their community.
That's right.
So no matter how bad things feel for you right now, I'm telling you, you have a powerful purpose, and I want you to discover it in a fearless way.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then if we throw content and you just multiply all that content all over the place, kapow. Okay. Yeah. Bam. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is true.
but that's like fifth step. Don't worry. Like, you gotta you like get it out, like at least on a Facebook Live. All I'm saying.
Yeah, you just gotta start. It is difficult to take the first step. I'm not gonna lie. It took us 3 years to take the first step, and I mean, the change since we did that, what follows is that momentum that you're falling down, and you have to take the next step, and then you have to take the next step, and it starts building up. But that first step, it is difficult, and I mean, I encourage people to take it, because then you're gonna enjoy the trying not to fall and just like walking all awkward in one direction, you know?
You mentioned shifting perspective, right? And we've shared this story a couple times, but a few months back, like before we even started the show, we almost lost the business because of COVID happened. Like, most of our clients were brick and mortars. Most of them had to close. There was no plan B. It was, at that point we're almost freelancing. There's some stuff that we're giving here and there for other people, but we actually had a massive freak out, right? And then, Fonzie was like, go take a walk for like 2 days. So I went out for a walk for like 2 days, and I came back.
I can handle negative energy. Yeah, I can handle negative energy in here. I'm like, yo, you're gonna have to step out of this office.
Just go. So I went out, cried a little bit, came back. I'm like, okay, how do we tackle this? But Fonzie there was massive help because he's like, hey, let's change perspective. We have all this time now that we were executing for the clients that we had. We have some runway. What can we do with that time? So we just literally dedicated ourselves to publishing, right? And that's why this show was born, and that's why we do 3 times a week, every single week, live with amazing guests just like you do. So for us, that shifting in perspective has turned into a massive lesson, right? And it's one of the things that we bring dear to our heart because it literally saved the business. If we were able to hire full-time team members, it's exploded. Revenue like double, almost triple now. It's incredible. Thank you for everybody, and also everybody that's listening to the show because you guys are showing us that this is so worth it. Now, for you, right? When was that moment when you felt the first shift of perspective? Because we've talked to a lot of people, and they're going through. Let's say they're going through a very negative situation, which right now the world is, right? And when we have this conversation now, we say, hey, the only thing that you got to do is change your perspective and everything is going to get better. They find very hard to do so. And they're like, I don't see a way. So I want to find out, when was that moment for you and how do you change the perspective?
Oh my God. So I am actually reaching for my journal because this is July 22, 2019. And the quote here is, I accept that the past is not the determining factor for my future. This was kind of when the turning point happened for me. Now, understand, I had spent 8 months going back and forth, trying to enter contracts, trying to get people to sign me up again, and nobody would sign my company, even though we'd done brilliant award-winning work, right? And I started losing confidence in myself and my ability to do anything. But I had to come to the conclusion that the past was not a determining factor for my future. So as I went through this, I came to this little conclusion. This is why I believe in journaling, and I'm telling you, listen, just if you need to remember where you came from, because it's not always going to be the way it is right now. It's not always going to be. So there was this thing that I wrote that says, what if I had to lose it all so that I would know what it would be like when I got it all again? And I started having this feeling that there was a tsunami that was happening, that the water is receding. Everything seems to be still and quiet. My entire life seems to be on hold and in ruins. But it was like knowing that was happening to me, but yet at the same time realizing that it wasn't the end. It was part of the journey. That's when it started shifting. Now, I still needed, like, for where I was last year this time, I still had to go through another 8 to 12 weeks of absolute misery, of anxiety attacks and sleepless nights. But that was the turning point that I realized, just because I've had a really bad, set of months, like almost year, I'm gonna be able to come through this. So sometimes it's just a glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
And that you hold on to. So the second part of your question is, what do you do? What do you do when you have the glimmer of hope? You hold on to it. You hold on to the glimmer, because what you focus on expands. So what I started doing at 5 o'clock in the morning is I used to go sit out on, remember, I live a laptop lifestyle. So for the place that I was staying, I used to go at 5 a.m. to the sofa. And I found a very quiet little meditation that I would listen to. It was just meditative music. And I would imagine myself doing things that what I'm doing right now. Going to the beach and doing, like, because I was in the US, and doing the things that I really love doing. And just taking myself emotionally and connecting to that space. And people, as entrepreneurs, we don't talk enough about the power of mindset to shift that. And even though I woke up and that wasn't my reality, in the time that I was there, I still have this really great hope for a better future, you know?
Beautiful.
Wow. I love it. I do have a question a little specific with that, right? I do believe in visualizing, you know, what we want and holding to that glimmer of hope, like you said. But at the same time, you know, like in the past, for example, with soccer, I remember when I was gonna do like tryouts for a team or whatever, I would put like motivational stuff in my ears, and I was like, yes, I can do it, right? And as much as it would get me pumped up, I think what got me to, you know, where I play soccer was the environment where I was with other good players that raised me to like a better level, I guess. So what is there anything else like that in your story that played a role? Did you meet someone, you know, maybe a mentor that took you from step A to step B in that journey, or was it all?
I love that you say that.
Yep.
I love that you said that. So yeah, I can give you the tangible part. So guess what? You see, when after you get up at 5 o'clock and you've listened to your meditation, and you're feeling really good. Then you have to do some work.
Yeah.
So remember, I told you that I had borrowed money to pay half of the person's salary, and I kept $100 to do the one funnel away challenge.
Correct.
That stuff is work. The guy that I latched onto immediately was Steve J. Larson. Stephen Larson is my boy. Nobody can tell me not
Yes.
Stephen, right? So when he interviewed me on the one funnel away thing, in fact, he and I have had like at least 2 interview experiences together because he came on my podcast too. I'm like, right?
That's awesome.
And in the midst of that, it was him talking about his story, right? Just wanting to be able to make a little money and then move on to make and shifting perception that way, and his resilience. Those are the guys that I started listening to. And I had a little prayer, which is, I just want to breathe a different air. So what happens in One Funnel Away is if you start connecting with people inside of the challenge, it opens you up to a brand new world.
Yeah.
Somehow in that world, I got introduced to Alex S. Elliott.
Yes.
I did not have enough money to purchase Alex's course, the first level of her course. But I went on, someone was going live and said, if you can find $50, then I will allow you, I'll do some kind of exchange and I'll get you into the first level of the program. That is what helped me understand online marketing, social media, right? Doing that introduced me to Andrew Crucy. I was then into the Tribe of Buyers world, and then the rest is history. There's so many other amazing things that have happened since then, but it meant there was work. One of my friends said that I used to spend more time with Stephen Larson than anyone else. It's like, you're always talking to Stephen, you're always, but I was so focused. That's all I wanted to do because I wanted to get it, you know?
Yeah.
We feel so identified with that story also because, you know, Steve, if you're listening or you're watching, I know you're busy, but you're a coach, so you should be watching this. But anyways, you know, we felt that too. You know, we went through the same challenge. It was life-changing. We were in a place where we really didn't really know what service to offer. We had many services and, you know, focus was lacking, right? And, you know, Fonzie here at Funnel Hacking Live, we saw Dan Henry speak, and I think his speech was like one of the most impactful things because he was talking about focus, right? And just like you said, like you find those mentors, right, or those coaches that can guide you, and there's a ton of people out there, right? And we gotta understand that that's okay. You know, one person is gonna lead you to the other one. You know, somebody early in our career was Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is not a person that we follow nowadays. We follow his spirit of execution, but what he talks about sales, we talk something different because we found our path, right? You don't have to latch onto that, but then you're gonna find that one coach that for you was Steve, you know, Andrew, Alex, all these wonderful people, right? That we also been part of those communities, and that's why it's so important because one person is gonna lead you to the other one, and then you're gonna be able to craft your stuff, right?
Yeah, I think the internet just makes it so easy to find the right person.
It only makes it easy if you are open to receive.
Yes.
Right? Only because there are so many people who are on the internet right now who are like, I don't know what to listen to. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know that person. Like, if you go into the internet skeptical, guess what? You're just going to get cynicism and more skepticism back. There's a ton of other people doing that. Someone asked me the other day, like, so do you know these people? Like, have you met them? I'm like, no, but they're the best friends I ever had and I've never met. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. There's people need to be open-minded for sure, right? But when we're talking about having that glimmer of hope, I feel like when you have that, when you have that feeling inside of you that you know you can do it, you get a little hope going on, then it is easy to be a little more open-minded, right? I do invite people to check themselves, right? If they see someone, are we just judging them immediately? Because I was one of those that I used to see some people that maybe is marketing that I'm not attracted to, right? Like the cool cars and stuff like that. And I was like, I started judging like, oh, how do you get that? How do you do that, right? I don't know their story. I don't know where they come from. But they can be 100% legit, right? And I'm here judging them. So I do agree with you in the sense that you gotta be open-minded in that term. And I had a question since you started your story. I don't know. It gave me a lot of curiosity. You said that you were a marketer with 20 years of experience, yet when it comes to the digital side, you felt like you knew barely anything. So
zero.
I'm curious. Why is that? I don't know. 20 years is a lot.
Wonderful. This is wonderful. So the thing is, here's marketing, right? For the marketing that I did, I grew up or grew into advertising and advertising agency. So my first business was actually AV company, audio visual. So I wrote scripts for TV commercials, radio commercials. I used to voice a lot of ads and a lot of jingles because I could sing. And I went into an advertising agency as a writer, producer, and then became a creative director. Within the creative director role, I don't have to be doing any digital marketing. In fact, mostly we hire agencies to do that work and then tack them onto our campaigns. So technically, even though you can work in advertising and marketing, you don't actually have to know any part of that.
Yeah.
I've done huge campaigns. I've run budgets for 30.
Oh no.
This was the best part of the show. What just happened? Is that us? No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Samantha.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
We're back. We're back.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. I think you got cut off when you were saying 30 years of, and then.
Yes. Okay, yeah. No, so I was saying that I have managed $30 million budgets, right?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter whether it's a $30 million budget or a $3,000 budget. If you are working something large within a marketing campaign, you actually don't have to make a decision about the copy on a sales page or the direct response, because you're doing it in a mass marketing, from a mass marketing perspective. So a lot of the campaigns that I did, we were focused on public relations. We were focused on things, traditional marketing, TV commercials, radio commercials, and billboards.
Yeah.
So you can be, and there are lots of traditional, I'm not saying lots, but there are several traditional agencies that still exist where right now, if I talk to those people and ask them, do you understand the difference between engagement and interaction? Do you know what organic marketing is? Do you know that you do not need to run an ad to make money? Do you know the power of a personal profile? Like stuff that we talk about normally that we know. A lot of marketers don't know. Do you know what direct response marketing is? Do you know what a sales funnel is? Do you know that websites are dead?
Yeah.
Like, they have no clue about this stuff.
Yeah.
So when I came into this world, I was like, oh my God, it felt brand new to me. It was like, I have learned all this stuff and yet I know nothing. My master's degree, so my graduate degree, I have a degree in it's an executive MBA in marketing and entrepreneurship. Dudes, half stuff that I learned, like in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the One Funnel Away challenge, I just never learned in my marketing degree.
Yeah.
No, it's phenomenal.
It's such a different way. I'm glad you asked that question because, we come from a traditional education too. And hey, nothing wrong with that. My wife just graduated with her doctorate in pharmacy. That definitely, thank you. Hopefully she listens to this episode. I keep trying to convince her because she doesn't like my radio voice, but that's okay. Katie, there you go. Please watch it. Anyways, but hey, nothing against that type of education, right? But we found that there is so much opportunity, right, outside by executing, right, going out and actually like learning this thing and do it, and it's perfectly scalable because we've worked with very big companies. Like right now, we work with a real estate company, $200 million company that has a ton of marketing. Like I think their budget is about $6 million just for their marketing for one side of the whole thing, and they sell houses through direct response through content, and that's where we kind of plug in. which is amazing. So there's all these pieces, right? And so it's awesome that you were able to kind of break it down now, right? You now both probably, have that overview, and then you have the direct response aspect it's probably where you're killing it.
And guys, a client of mine, so I do marketing consultancy as well as I do marketing coaching, right? So I do marketing coaching with women, and I coach coaches, but I also do marketing consultancy. Companies still reach out to me and ask me to develop strategies for them. And I'm pretty good at that. But there's a company that I said, guys, I want you to take an organic approach. We can get much further with a really small budget if you do that. But they're so stuck on traditional. No, I need an infomercial. No, I need a TV. No, I need a... I'm like, okay, all right. If that's what you want, I'll work with that. But there's so much that you can do in the organic space,
You mentioned that phrase, if that's what you want. And it's funny because we mentioned this before, the slogan of the show is like, how to get the frictionless sale, right? People buy what they want, not what they need. And sometimes us as coaches, as marketers, we gotta understand that. So flipping the script, right? For you listening, right? Sometimes we try to sell and we're not selling, we're convincing somebody that they need our product.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
that's a no-go.
The day I realized that was actually with Steve Larson, because he actually sold, he's the king of offers. And I'm like, we don't have an offer. We need an offer. And as soon as he starts speaking, as soon as you buy into his course and he starts teaching, he teaches you 3-4 steps before the actual offer. But then I'm like, wow, this is all the goodness I didn't know I needed. And now I need it and I want it. Yeah. And for me, that was interesting. Lead with what the client want, right?
Yeah.
So that is key to know, because again, and as coaches, right? Going back to soccer, we coach soccer. We know for example, when we coach kids, we're like, okay, you want to score more goals, and we tell them, we're gonna teach you how to score more goals, right? But for that, first you need to learn how to stop the ball. So we're gonna go to the basics right now. We're gonna start with stopping the soccer ball, and then we're gonna progressively move there. But the way you get them to buy into you as a coach, sometimes it's by telling them that outcome that they want.
Totally, absolutely, totally. And I've more recently been having this conversation about sales for coaches, because it's Brooke. So Brooke is one of our,
we love
our
Brooke.
Mutual friends. Love Brooke. And Brooke says, Samantha, I tell people I'm a sales coach, but really I do mindset work, because one of the hardest things, or the hardest types of mindset to overcome, is the mindset related to money and to sales, right? And as marketers, that's also a part of our challenge, that we are shifting perception. Steve Larson talks about this. We are shifting perception with the intention of a sale. We are shifting mindset. Therefore, we are creating a brand new behavior around what it is that we're doing. And it doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think a lot of people interpret that as being the sketchy, right? Like, oh, I'm trying to convince. And it's like, no, man, you're doing them a service. Like, you're helping these people, right? It's like what's best for them. And the cool thing is when you see that they actually shift their perspective, and you see in their eyes, they open up and they're like, whoa, did that just happen, right? When they get it, and you're like, yes, this is so cool.
Yeah, I think part of that, and again, bringing the conversation a little bit back full circle to what both of us do, it's with a platform, right? And I think that's the job of front-end content, evergreen content, organic content. It's like, hey, you are actually teaching your audience, while you create those points of contact, so then they can make an educated decision. And at the end of the day, it's a frictionless sale. So to you, Sam, first off, what motivated you to start your platform, your show, your podcast, and how has that experience been? And I'm assuming it's super amazing, because if you're watching now, she's going all over the place.
Guys, well, here's the thing, right? So what motivated me was just Russell Brunson saying, if you publish 365 days in a year, I'll come back and check you after day 366, and you will not be poor. You will not be poor. You want to change your life, start publishing. But guys, let me tell you what happened with my platform. I started my very first podcast. I probably started about a year ago too, or a little bit less than that.
Yeah.
And I called it Fearless Girl Boss. And within the first 4 weeks, I was so proud. I had 400 or 500 downloads. It was going very good. And I wasn't promoting this thing. I was just doing stuff because at that time I had no idea what I was doing. And then I saw a lawsuit, a threat of a lawsuit in the email. And I was being sued. I had a cease and desist order from someone who said that I was in violation of their intellectual property because I was using Girl Boss. Whole nother story. I've got a lot of them.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I wound up having to stop my podcast, right?
Yeah.
And it broke my heart. And I said, why would they even do that? I mean, I'm helping women everywhere. Why would you do that? So I said, all right, let me just try to change the name. I'll change to Fearless Entrepreneurs, but my heart wasn't in it. So I tried, and I did it for a few episodes, and it didn't thing. But I knew that I had to have something that was out there and something that was consistent. So then I came up with what's the thing that I talk about all the time? What do I help people do? I help people launch. That's the core of what I help people crush fears and launch their message. I said, all right, marketing launch radio it is. I'm going to make it marketing launch radio, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And we have over 50 episodes. There are probably about 49 published, and I've got several of them that are going through, and it's been a phenomenal exercise. You know, it's really amazing when somebody says to you, hey, Sam, I've been listening to your podcast for a while, and it's really helped me.
Beautiful.
Like, what?
Wow.
What did you say? Huh? You're listening to my podcast? Because podcast world, you know, it feels surreal, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just there talking to the microphone. Is there anyone on the other side of this? But it works. It works.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think
I relate to that feeling when someone tells us like, dude, I love your podcast. I was like, what? Thank you.
Do you
that is so
listen?
yeah, like that is so cool.
you're one of those downloads. Oh my god. I know. It's funny. Like we have like this. He's now a business partner, right? But he came to us and he's like, guys, like you are truly inspiring. Like I truly enjoy your show, and it's like my favorite show. And we're like, nah, you're kidding, brother. You can like, no. Like legit, you just like surpass Gary Vee on like what I like about shows. And we're like, wow, such an honor. Just like, and again, the hourglass effect, right? And it's not just we talk about this concept called collateral revenue, right? Is maybe not related to just the money that comes out of the show or what you're able to sell, but the impact that's able to create around you, right? So it's probably allowed you to connect with wonderful people, build great relationships. I mean, this is a wonderful example of that collateral revenue. The relationship that we are able to form, you know, or deepen with you or with your community, right? For us on the personal side, we've been able to connect with amazing entrepreneurs like, you know, Steve, Marley Jacks, Catherine Jones, Todd Brown. Wow, there's so many names. Sam Gooden, you know, everybody. So, and then allows to open opportunities to share our message in other platforms. So it's not just the money that you might be getting paid by an advertiser or selling a product. It's all these relationships that they can potentially better your life in so many ways. So for us, that collateral revenue is so high, and we value that a lot. That pushes us forward. Do you see that as a benefit? And that's okay if you don't. But have you ever considered what is my collateral revenue from my show?
So let me tell you, in Jamaica, there's a saying that says good friend better than pocket money, which just means if you have good friends, you don't need money because your good friends are even better than money. And the podcast has been exactly that for me. First thing is your podcast helps you to refine your message. When you refine your message, you have greater confidence and clarity. When you have greater clarity, you have greater power. When you have greater power, you show up even more impactfully within the spaces that you go, right? So if we're going to talk about something, very topical right now, which is we're in a time of social unrest. We're in a time of a pandemic. We're in a time of great instability. We're in a time where conversations about gender diversity and racial diversity have become really hot topics. It's because of the stuff that I was doing on my podcast where I said, oh my God, I actually have to stand up and do something. Because I do work on my podcast, but I also do work on my personal Facebook page where I talk about the things that are really important to me. And about a month ago now, or 5 weeks, I had a roundtable with some really key influencers in the online space talking about anti-racism. And I was talking about anti-racism with some people who don't even know, they didn't even realize they were living a life of white privilege. So you talk about the ability to then bring people together through through your platform. You start shifting because you become, it's not just about being an influencer, it's about you having impact. And then using that impact to help others shift their perceptions and have greater awareness of life and living, right? So to me, you know, you talk about the collateral. Let me tell you, the collateral revenue for me has been deepening relationships with brothers and sisters who don't look like me, who don't live in anywhere like me, who have audiences that are nothing like my own. I had a conversation with a guy who ran he's running a summit, but the summit I was very outspoken, and I said that I didn't feel as if the summit, and it didn't appear that way, was diverse, right? And we were able to meet face to face just because I shared a post. We were able to meet face to face to have a conversation about diversity and anti-racism. That to me is real collateral revenue.
Yeah.
The outcome of that is a young lady reaching out to me and saying, Samantha, she's a black woman, and she's like, I really feel as if I have to dim my light when I'm around other people. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about coaching? Can we talk? So one thing on a platform, we think that sales and marketing is you doing a hard sale and always putting an offer out. It doesn't have to be that way. The collateral revenue you have is the impact of a life, which, to use the hourglass effect, which is probably the theme of today's session. You're able to have this multiplier effect just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I agree. You know, when I explain people that are not in this world and maybe they don't listen to like too many podcasts, that I have a podcast with my brother and that we talk to, you know, other people as a business. They're like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And I'm like, interesting? That's freaking awesome. You know, like the fact that we get to talk to these people that maybe, you know, we wouldn't have the chance to talk to and learn from and express our ideas, right? It's unbelievable. Actually, today after yoga, I had this, like I met these two girls. We went to have breakfast at the same place and I started talking. And as soon as I started saying this, I was like, wow, like it just reminded myself. It's like, it is so amazing that we, you know, live in this time that we can actually speak our truth, no matter what it is, right? And speak it to the people that we want to help and impact, like you're saying, right? So I was like, man, this is so amazing. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Oh God, guys, this is beautiful. Like this is like freaking poetry in motion right here.
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, another collateral revenue that I've experienced personally, I've been able to have better conversations outside in my personal life, like with the people that I meet. Now I find myself exploring different ideas in conversations that I was not exploring at all before, right? And it's because this platform has allowed us to now connect with ideas like yours, right? Ideas from other people. And now we're creating our own, like Holy Flick calls it, your original thoughts. And you're like, wow, I got the power to come up with original thoughts now. And now I can share this with people and see what their reaction is, whether they agree or disagree. And that's the awesome part too. I'm loving people disagreeing in conversation with me, because it's like, wow, let's open this line of dialogue and see why we're disagreeing with each other, you know? And that's how we learn. Because I feel like before it was always the same stories. I would be talking to people, the same topics, and always agreeing with everybody. So I was staying like kind of like in the same street all the single time. Now my street has like so many avenues. I'm like, let's go. Let's turn left here, right?
Break him into the show, and he just like, Bart.
But you know, the thing is, what we're talking about here is polarity, right? In order for you to choose to teach, to train, to choose a polar position, allows you to express yourself in a brand new way, and it's okay for us to not have the same perspective, but I want you to respect me, to listen, and I want to be able to respect you and listen too, and feel confident enough to share my perspective even if we don't. It's okay if we don't, but polarity is also what attracts our people to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have lived my life like that too, right? Oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm just gonna be okay with everything and everyone. No,
Rock it. Rock that boat.
It.
Yes.
Because one of the most powerful things that we have as human beings is our opinion.
I love that. Wow. Yeah.
It's yours.
Hold on. There we go.
Yes. I was in shock. I was like, whoa, what's happening right
Hold on.
now?
And this one too. This one too. Yeah. There's a gong moment. Okay. There we go.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
You guys are hilarious. You guys
I was so into it. I was like, wait, what's happening? I was like,
That's it.
The pause was perfect. I was
Dramatic.
like, yeah, so dramatic.
But it's so true. It's so true. And you know, this is a wonderful thing, right? And I want to encourage like every listener and whoever's watching live right now. First off, thank you if you made it this far. And second, I highly encourage you to like look different points of view. And if you do not agree, that's okay. That means that then the other side is your path. So go out and execute on that path, right? That's and then if you find something that you agree on, awesome. Explore a little bit more on that point of view, and then keep diving in. But the most important thing is, if you're learning from anybody, either us, Sam, anybody, go out and execute like Sam did. You know, she dove in. It was like her last $100. Amazing story. But you know what changed was that she actually executed, and we talked about it. We talked about it at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. I want to throw like a random fact now that we're in this topic of like your truth and what you believe in, you know, and actually, if you believe it, go out there and like don't be afraid of talking about it. So when this movement, right? Like, well, not this movement started, but when the Black Lives Matter recent movement started, I guess I started reading for the first time Malcolm X, right? And just so you know, we come from Venezuela, where honestly we didn't experience racism growing up. Like for us, wasn't a thing, right? Like for me, I knew from like theory what racism was. But in Venezuela, is honestly it's more on like a social class level, and
it was after we grew up a little bit. It was not on the infancy, so we grew up without it.
Yeah. So when I came here, of course, I started hearing about it, people commenting about it, and I was like, oh, like interesting, right? But I never educated myself, and I still think I need to educate myself way more on the topic. But I decided to read Malcolm X because I heard a lot of people saying that was an incredible book, and I know it's part of the history that needs to be learned. So I read this book, and honestly, I'm amazed. I loved that book. I think it was absolutely amazing. But for me, what stuck out the most, like, yes, like the book, of course, it paints a very clear picture of what racism is and the history and all that. But for me was the power of Malcolm X to change and to stick to his beliefs and fight for what he believed in, right? And most importantly, to accept when he was wrong. And I was like, man, like this for me, that was the message. And I was like, this is so powerful, right? So going in this topic, at that time, he's creating the content, to put it that way, was to go into debates, into these universities, right? And he was very, very polarizing, and he was attracting those people, right? And eventually, when for those that read the book, I guess, when he realized that the religion that he was following at first, it wasn't the true Muslim religion. He decided to make a stand against that, right? And speak the truth. And I was like, man, that is so powerful, right? Because he's not only just changing, like jumping ship, whatever you want to call it, but he's accepting it. He's like, you know what? I was wrong here, and this is actually my truth now. And he was super polarizing in that, which, of course, in that world that at that time, like I think that's what got him killed, right? But what I'm saying here, the message is
please don't tell us if you stand for your truth, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
no. That's definitely not the message. The message is that is like be polarizing and don't be afraid to be yourself, because that's what's gonna attract, you know, the people that is gonna feel your movement.
Yeah, and I agree. So, I mean, the power of a movement, right? Russell talks about this. Russell Brunson talks about it. The power of a movement is undeniable, but a movement requires a leader, and a movement requires a leader that speaks from their point of truth. There's a thing that I teach even coaches, which is the truth of you. I believe the best marketing comes from the truth of who you are. It means that even if you don't have a website, even if you don't know anything about tech, you don't have a huge following, if you speak from the truth of who you are and you share that truth using the channels that are available to you, your tribe will find you.
Yeah.
I have a thing, it's your attractor factor, because we are always attracting people that we are meant to serve, that are supposed to be in our world. So it's not build it and they will come. It is be it and they will come.
Oh,
right?
I love it. We're like, guys, if you guys are listening, we stay quiet because we're literally taking notes. We're like, be it and they will come.
So if you think about it, right, this is integrity. Integrity just means that the thing on the inside is the same thing on the outside. I believe in personal integrity. My personal integrity is, what is the message? What is the mission? So you started by saying, hey, Samantha, you believe that your mission is to inspire and educate change agents. Do you want to know what change agents are? A change agent is literally, yes, someone who can act as a catalyst within a space. What is a catalyst? A catalyst is something that can come into an environment, change the environment, and remain unchanged by the environment. Yeah, that's what a catalyst is. I believe the greatest catalysts and the greatest change agents are women who are in business, and stats show it that when you educate a woman and when you help her, she doesn't go pocket money all for herself. Most of the time, she's taking it to her community and building the community. So when the tide rises, we all rise together. That's what I want to educate and inspire more women, so more women get inspired and educated and back to the hourglass.
Back to the hourglass.
I love it.
Fonzie, you need to be the woman in this relationship over here. We need a woman, you need to be it. Yeah.
That's too weird, guys.
Too weird.
I don't even know how to react to that comment right now.
Samantha, we need to land this plane. This conversation has been amazing. Wow. Please go back, rewatch it. I mean, we say that with every episode, but it's because every episode is so amazing. And I just want to ask you a couple of last questions here to like knock it out of the park. One is like, what is a very quick action point that somebody? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm like, she's okay. Go watch the video because I hear experience.
I want to answer this question. Yeah, let me let you finish asking the question.
Yeah, there you go. Whoosh. I love the excitement. There we go. So one action point that people can take today to move them forward.
Okay, so here's my action point. It's very, very simple. I call it the launch your message method. First thing first, decide how much time you want to bring to something. Time really stands for how much time, T for time, how much impact, how much money, how much energy. You want to decide that up front. Once you've made a decision for that, then it's time for you to do something most people don't like doing. You're going to take what I call fearless action.
Yeah.
Massive imperfect action. And you're going to start going live with a message. Any message, doesn't matter. The more you do it, the better it is. I recommend that you use your free platforms that are available to you. Go take the action, go live on Facebook. You don't want to do that, create a little group for yourself, do it in private, but start publishing in a live way. Why do I say video? The reason I say that you should do it with video is because it is the fastest way for you to get impact. You can use the algorithm to your favor by going live one to multiple times a day. Then after that, as you hone your message, identify what's resonating with people, what's resonating with your individuals, you are going to take note of that and package it. You can package that into a small thing, or you can package it into a big thing. Right now, I would recommend that you go and package something that starts at $97, anywhere from $97 to $497, right?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this because this is ultimately what changed my life. Once you identify what that is, go create a launch plan. The recommended launch plan is 21 days. We're going to talk more about that, but it's a 21-day launch plan. 3 weeks, you're going to go out with that message specifically telling people. Once you've wrapped that up, you're going to make them an offer at the end of the 3 weeks. If you do that one thing right now, it doesn't matter if you have 0 people watching you on your Facebook page or and you're doing this on your personal page, or you have 1,000. If you do that and you make an offer, that is one thing that completely changes you. You'll get greater confidence. You will get a greater following. You will hone your message. And most importantly, you will increase impact by crushing fear. Because you're liberating your message and crushing your fears at the same time.
Beautiful.
I mean, that's a whole that's an awesome step, but I invite people to actually write it down and follow it.
Yeah.
Because it is like you said,
That's the game plan.
That's exactly what you did.
That's
that
the game
changed your life. And what better, testimonial to that it works, that your own experience. So guys, do it.
I'm assuming if they need help with it, they can reach out to you.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And guys, listen, I keep life easy. You want to reach me? You just come to Facebook.
Yes.
My profile is like probably one of the most open profiles you'll ever find. 'Cause, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to hide. Just come into a DM. Just come to DM. Come talk to me. I'm there all the time.
Awesome.
Can they find the singing videos in your Facebook?
You may not find it on Facebook. You can check that out on YouTube, though.
It's okay, guys. If you want to see the video, we have it here. So, we might hold it ransom here if Sam doesn't want us to showing that. We'll talk behind cameras.
Yeah, random fact. She is an incredible singer. So, I'm going to make the open invite, okay, Samantha? Go check her out because she knows how to sing.
Last question.
So I'm gonna give you a little song. Louise, 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 you've got me here at ease. Louise, not one but two. I'm here with you and I feel fine. Louise, Louise, Louise.
Wow. Oh, guys, standing ovation. That was absolutely fantastic.
That was beautiful.
Woo!
Wow. Thank you.
I think my heart grew like twice its size right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So much love. So, that last question. Where will you be without publishing?
Oh, God, nowhere. Like, I probably, guys, so I sent myself a suicidal voice note about this time 12 months ago, so I could most probably be dead. And that sounds melodramatic, but actually not, because I found the voice note. Without having the expression, sometimes your expression doesn't have to be positive. You don't have to be energetic like me, but you do need a place of expression. And as you are journaling your story, I'm so happy that Stephen Larson speaks about this, and I learned this. Document the journey. You don't have to be anyone other than where you are and who you are right now. Just document your journey. That's what publishing allows you to do. It lets you off the hook. You don't have to have a ton load of pretty clothes. You don't have to be anyone other than you need to be. Just document your journey, because without that, really, no one's going to know who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So powerful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And again, this is the execution primer, guys. If you're listening, if you made it to this point, it's because you are serious about going out there and multiplying your message and making sure that you have an impact, just like Samantha here is doing with her amazing coaching program. And go execute. Guys, go. It works. Go publish, all right?
Yeah.
Follow what Samantha is saying. Follow what we're telling you. I mean, we've done it about 70 episodes now, so please go. If you haven't caught the message, go do it.
Yep. we do encourage you to take action.
Take action
now. Just do it.
So, Samantha, where can we find you? Obviously, you mentioned Facebook, amazing place to find you in. We're gonna leave the links right in the description.
SamanthaGooden.com. You can go to SamanthaGooden.com too. But guys, see, I just keep life super, super simple. Send me a DM.
Yes.
Come to Facebook and send me a DM, dudes. I'm right there.
Oh,
that's right, guys. That's right. Or a challenge for people listening. Send her a singing voice note. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Fonzie, that's your challenge for the next one.
And the singing knows what has to say. Samantha, we heard you at the Content is Profit podcast.
Yeah, we suck at this.
Something like that.
All right, Samantha, don't leave. We have a couple questions behind cameras. But guys, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button and follow us on social media at @BusinessBrosGo.
And if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you did because it was awesome, don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye.